On Newsflash, the Nigerian Airspace Management Agency this week began a 24-hour en route radar service to users at Kano and Lagos area control centers. In a statement issued by the agency, it explained that the service, which was initially slated for between Mondays and Fridays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., had now been extended to 24 hours, including Saturdays and Sundays. The statement said that the non-stop provision of the service was in line with the ongoing digitalization of the nation's airspace by the agency. It also said that this will also boost the nation's preparedness in search and rescue operations. And this may be a relief of passengers, as the fee currently being charged for using trolleys in Nigerian airports may be a thing of the past. This is coming from the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika. The minister revealed this in Abuja at the inauguration of the Ministerial Committee on Assessment of Security Situation in Nigeria's airports. He said payment for trolleys will stop as soon as the current contractual agreement on the handling of trolleys is over. On the foreign scene, Europe and the United States have tried to bridge differences over emission standards for aircraft as global aviation leaders prepare to adopt new rules that could affect Boeing Company and Airbus Group's production of the largest jetliners and freighters. Proposals being debated in Montreal by the International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO), the United Nations Aviation Agency, would force makers of the world's largest passenger jets to upgrade or stop producing certain models as early as 2023. US and European negotiators are trying to come up with the world's first carbon dioxide emission standards for aircraft as part of the industry's contribution to efforts to combat climate change. And finally, in Pakistan, the head offices of Pakistan International Airline in Karachi and Islamabad reopened earlier in the week following partial resumption of flight operations at various international airports across the country. PIA flight operations partially resumed at Karachi's Jinnah International Airport, where flight PK732 arrived at 1:50 p.m. local time, nearly 12 hours later than its scheduled arrival time, carrying pilgrims from Jeddah. After remaining suspended for 6 days because of the employee strike, PIA flight operations partially resumed at the weekend when the airline's two Boeing aircrafts brought home 725 pilgrims stranded in Saudi Arabia. The airline's ATR flight with 4 people on board landed at the Gilgit airport and returned to Islamabad with the passengers stranded there. One domestic and 4 international flights were operated from Lahore, but then operations from other airports of the country couldn't resume. However, PIA employees voiced their concerns that proper safety protocol hadn't been followed to put the planes in the air.
The aviation industry supports $2.4 trillion of the world's gross domestic product. The world's airlines carry over 3 billion passengers a year and 50 million tons of freight. Providing these services generates 8.7 million direct jobs within the air transport industry and contributes $606 billion to global GDP. Nigeria remains Africa's biggest aviation market with a population of about 160 million people, with the Murtala Mohammed International as its #1 gateway. In 2012, when a national airport remodeling exercise began, the Murtala Mohammed International Terminal was expanded on the D and E wings and extended a few meters forward. The expansion of the footprint of the terminal building created additional capacity and circulation space. At the moment, the MMIA is a construction site. Close to the D-Wing is a new terminal in the works. It's one of the 5 new airports being facilitated by a $500 million loan agreement with China. With a lot of work still to be done, the roof and some other structures are taking shape, and this airport is expected to care for Nigeria's growing traffic.
Well, the work on the terminal commenced March 2004 and is consisting of a 4-story building with a space of about 49,000 square meters. And when completed, this terminal will be able to process more than 5 million passengers and about 120 aircrafts for takeoff and landing. And it's very important, the importance of this terminal is that we hope that at the end of the day, it will be able to retire the almighty old terminal that is about 38 years old as we speak today, which is the busiest airport in Nigeria. So we've done a lot of expansion in the old facility, but there is so much you can do when it comes to old facility. And that is why the new terminal here is an answer to some of the teething problems we're experiencing in the old terminal. It's also fitted with state-of-the-art facility. There's also space and provision for the disabled. We have lifts, escalators. We have, what comprises of a modern terminal is part of the design philosophy of this terminal.
The terminal is not the only project here. A multi-story car park is also in the works. With a capacity for 1,500 vehicles, the car park, which has been under construction for 15 months, is racing to completion. When these projects are complete, many passengers say they look forward to a terminal that is world-class, with facilities that not only promote the safety and security, but also an airport where parking is not a headache.